Despite all the controversies surrounding the franchise's creator, Hogwarts Legacy is shaping up to be one of the biggest games of 2023. Hogwarts Legacy was announced back in 2020, a couple years after the footage had leaked online and kind of spilled the beans. It all started when Warner Bros. Bought out Avalanche Software from the Walt Disney Company back in 2017 and immediately got them working on a large-scale RPG based on the Harry Potter universe. WB also quickly established Portkey Games, a publishing label for all things Harry Potter in the future, which seemed to suggest that Warner Brothers is really taking things seriously. The wizarding world is coming into the gaming world at full speed, and Hogwarts Legacy is likely just the beginning. But despite the insane hype surrounding the game, the development has been extremely troubled, and a lot of things are still kind of up in the air. Today on VGL, we're going to go ahead and look at absolutely everything we know about Hogwarts Legacy, both official and unofficial. A long showcase was recently hosted by the developers, and it showed off a lot of new things about the gameplay that you probably see a ton of in the background. But in this video, we're going to be focusing on things like leaks, different versions of the game, release dates, and so on and so forth. So remember to drop a like and make sure you're subscribed for more news and leaks and updates. So without further delay, let's go ahead and get right into it. Now, before we get into any more details about the game, let's go over a recent rumor that suggested the 8th generation versions of the games were actually canceled. It was confirmed not too long ago that Warner Bros. Is delaying the Xbox One, PS4, and Switch versions of the game for a few months. And while some have taken this to mean that the game is actually canceled on those platforms, I'm a little more hesitant to say that. It wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility for Warner Bros. To just flat out cancel the game on past gen hardware, especially after they did the same thing with Gotham Knights, the superhero open world game that was announced for both 8th and 9th generation of consoles, but then ultimately ended up being canceled for the Xbox One and PS4 due to performance issues. Leading up to the release of Hogwarts Legacy, many people have speculated that it's only a matter of time until Warner Bros. Pulls the same move here and axes the past generation versions of the new fantasy RPG, which seem to be perfectly in line with their strategy up to this point. The Xbox One and PS4 have been seriously struggling to run modern games, and Hogwarts Legacy has reportedly had a decent amount of trouble just getting up and running on the Xbox and PS5. The new systems may not have been out for long, but people are already starting to see how much they're struggling, which is why games like Gotham Knights, Plague Tale Requiem, and Forspoken run so poorly despite being on next-gen systems. Given the tumultuous development cycle of Hogwarts Legacy and the serious issues the previous generation hardware has had, it's a little too convenient that Warner Bros. Just all of a sudden announced a hold on the 8th generation versions. However, I don't think those versions are canceled for a number of reasons. First of all, pre-orders have already been gone through for the game. On every platform, the Xbox One and PS4 versions of Gotham Knights may have been canceled before the launch, but pre-orders weren't nearly as high for that game as they are for Hogwarts Legacy, meaning canceling the Xbox One, Switch, and PS4 versions would be a PR nightmare since they would have to now track everyone down and offer refunds. But another reason I don't think those versions are canceled is the simple fact that WB hasn't said anything about it. When Gotham Knights was canceled for PS4 and Xbox One, they just came right out and said it. Sure, they took a bit of heat from the gaming community for it, but they weren't afraid to make the announcement. So while Hogwarts Legacy may be delayed on Switch, PS4, and Xbox, I don't think this means the versions are quietly canceled. Warner Bros. Has already let the cat out of the bag and confirmed that they are willing to cancel the 8th generation versions of new games, so why would they stop here? Why would they dance around the subject by just delaying those versions? That doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Granted, they may be just trying to prolong the PR nightmare that a move like that will cause, but as of right now, I don't think the 8th generation versions of Hogwarts Legacy are canceled. A while back, the specs were revealed, and all things considered, this is going to be a pretty decently run game. The minimum specs for Hogwarts Legacy are Windows 10, 64-bit, and Intel i5 8400 or Ryzen 5 2600, 8GB of RAM, DirectX 12, 85 gigs of hard drive space, and a GPU equivalent to a GTX 1070. The recommended specs are mostly the same, except for the jump to 16 gigs of RAM, an i7 8700 or Ryzen 5 3600, and a GPU equivalent in power to the GTX 1080 Ti. Basically, if you're looking to play this game at 1080p and have a build that runs other games perfectly fine, you should be good to go here. There will also be reportedly an early access period, so PC players will be able to test the game on their rig and see if it will be worth the purchase or worth the hardware upgrade. According to the developers, the minimum specs will be enough to reliably get you 1080p at 60 FPS on low settings, while the recommended specs are shooting for 1080p 60 FPS on high settings. Minimum and recommended specs are a very strange concept when you think about it, because many PC gamers are going to be looking for different things in their games. For example, there may be some PC gamers out there that don't mind playing at 30 FPS, and if it means they get better graphics in return, many PC gamers don't even play games at 1080p anymore, so those people, these minimum specs and recommended specs may not sound very helpful since they're specifically targeting a resolution you don't use. So while it remains to be seen just how the game is going to run on more modern rig, it seems like a lot of effort has been put into making making sure players with older hardware can still reliably play, which is pretty in line with the push for Xbox One and PS4 versions of the game despite being 3 years into the new console generation. At the end of the day, PC gamers are going to be able to play Hogwarts Legacy just fine, assuming it doesn't launch like Callisto Protocol did. If you're watching a video about Hogwarts Legacy before it comes out, chances are you're a fan of this universe, and if you're a fan of this universe, then you're going to absolutely love what comes with the collector's edition. Now, there have been a number of different versions of Hogwarts Legacy put up for pre-order, and it can be a little bit confusing to decipher at times, but thankfully it's not as complicated as Diablo 4. Keep in mind that the PS5 and Xbox Series and PC versions of the game are currently set to launch on February 10th, while the Xbox One and PS4 versions aren't expected to launch until April 4th or later, and the Switch version was pushed back all the way to July 25th. So before you pre-order, just remember that depending on the version you're buying, you may have a pretty long wait to get your stuff. Also remember that the different retailers have different benefits to pre-orders. For example, Best Buy gives you a $10 gift card whenever you pre-order a video game, and other places like GameStop may have additional physical merchandise to give you if you pre-order at one of their physical locations. Also, Hogwarts Legacy starts at $70 on the PS5 and Xbox Series consoles, while all of the other versions are only starting at $60. So if you're a multi-platform gamer and you want to save money, you should take that into account. Pre-ordering digitally on PlayStation system will give some additional content like the Haunted Hogsmeade shop quest, although it seems like this will come to other platforms 1 year after the game launches. But getting into the different versions of the game, there is the digital deluxe version, because of course there is. That will include the Dark Arts pack, which comes with a Thestral mount and the Dark Arts battle arena and a cosmetic set, the Dark Arts garrison hat, and 3 days of early access. Now for the collector's edition that is currently sold out, there will likely be more opportunities to buy it before the game launches, but this version comes with all of the digital deluxe bonus content, in addition to a steel case, a life-size floating wand and book base that looks absolutely awesome, and you get the game 3 days early. Like I said, this version of the game is currently sold out everywhere, but I wouldn't be shocked if Warner Brothers didn't do another run of it before the game launches. This will run you at $290 on Xbox One and PS4 and PC, and even $300 on Xbox Series and PS5. With more and more gameplay coming out as we get closer to the launch of the game, Hogwarts Legacy is looking to be a very solid fantasy RPG and a worthy addition to the Harry Potter universe. Obviously, we'll have to wait to get our hands on it and give it a playthrough before passing any final judgment, but I'm really excited to give it a shot. I've been a fan of the universe for a long time, and a full-fledged Hogwarts RPG like this is something that we've all wanted ever since the series first got popular. While there won't be any appearances from the movie characters due to it being set roughly 100 years before the Sorcerer's Stone, Hogwarts Legacy will surely provide all the nostalgia beats you're looking for, and while hopefully featuring some great gameplay, interesting additions to the lore. And as I said, it's currently set to launch on PC, PS5, and Xbox Series consoles in February 10th, but given Warner Brothers' luck, I wouldn't be surprised if there wasn't another delay. But if that happens, we'll be sure to update you guys in a future video. Thanks for watching, guys. This has been Wes from VGL, and I will talk to you guys again soon.